Hello, everyone. We are back again with this lovely book, A Nest for Celeste, a story about art, inspiration, and the meaning of home. I cannot wait to continue reading this wonderful book that was written and illustrated by Henry Cole and published by Catherine Tagan Books, an imprint of HarperCollins Publisher. So when we last left Celeste in chapter 30, she had just found a new mouse house, right? And it was a beautiful miniature home that was the perfect size just for her. And now we're up to chapter 31, which is entitled House Cleaning. Let's see what happens. The draped sheet over Celeste's new home made it feel close and dim, dusty and airless. She scampered to the floor and pondered. Gathering a corner of the sheet in her mouth, she bit tightly. With claws gripping the rough oak floorboards, she leaned forward and pulled fiercely. Slowly, the dusty sheet moved with her, inch by inch. Finally, in a rush of fragile and yellowing cotton, it slipped into a pile in front of the dollhouse, producing a haze of dust. And there we see the inside of the dollhouse finally. Looks pretty nice to me. Perfect for our friend Celeste. Celeste began straight away to clean and make order of her new home. Now that the house was bright and cheery and its contents easy to see, she could open drawers, explore cabinets, shake out linens, polish brass, shine crockery, which is like for cooking, like pots and pans, and sweep floors. And that she did. She made a small broom using feathers from an old mattress and a rag from a bit of mattress ticking, which is the fabric that a mattress is made of. Soon the floors and walnut staircase glowed. She dusted and polished the chandelier and glass cabinet doors. An inventory of the dining room cabinet revealed a lace tablecloth, 4 china plates with matching cups and saucers, and a china serving platter. In one drawer, Celeste found several tiny candles, partially melted from the summer heat in the attic. She pulled one of the chairs from the living room out onto the windowsill. The missing pane afforded her the chance of catching a passing breeze, and from her perch she could see the comings and goings of the plantation below. Celeste felt contented after days of hard work. She straightened one last picture, fluffed up a sofa cushion, and then at last made her way to her bedroom. Beams of peach-colored sunset washed across the wallpaper, and the tiny room glowed with coppery peonies and amber hyacinths. Those are types of flowers. A breeze, fragrant with ripening grapes from the garden arbor, drifted through the missing window pane. Celeste could now see out the window from her perch on the bed. Over and beyond the treetops lay an expanse of sunset-drenched lawn and fields and forests. Even the dusty window panes couldn't dull the brilliant scene as Celeste lay on her soft, cottony bed. She nibbled on a watermelon seed, staring in rapture at the landscape stretching so far. A mockingbird was singing in the nearby magnolia tree. She missed Joseph. She wished Cornelius or Lafayette were there. At that moment, there were 2 feelings inside Celeste's tiny, rapidly beating heart that made her feel as full and as empty as a gourd. The sheer beauty of this moment was perfect and sublime, but she was alone. The golden edges of the clouds faded to soft pinks, then to gray blues, and finally the sky darkened. A few stars appeared. Celeste crawled under the soft blanket, tucking her nose under her paw, and sank into sleep. Chapter 32. A homecoming of sorts. and we see our friend Celeste. She seems to be making a journey down a flight of stairs. A homecoming of sorts. Let's see what happens. When she awoke, Celeste realized that laboring over her chores had worked up an appetite. She gathered 2 baskets and headed down the attic stairs and through the knothole. The hallway was dark. Celeste scampered past Joseph's room, then quickly stopped. Her ears flicked and her whiskers quivered, and her heart felt a sudden fullness. Was that the sound of his pencil sketching? She felt dispirited when she realized it was just the distant ticking of the hallway clock downstairs. The dining room seemed unusually still. There were leftover crumbs and bits dotted across the carpet, but certainly no bounty. The dining room carpet had been swept. She sniffed the air for traces of cat. Ducking beneath the sideboard for a short rest, she let out a tiny cry of surprise. The hole was no longer there. A short wooden board had been nailed to the wall, sealing off the entrance and the emergency escape route forever. She evenly distributed her meager spoils between the 2 baskets, securing the straps across her shoulders. She studied the dining room and then ran cautiously towards the stairs. The looming clock suddenly struck 5, startling Celeste so that she left her tiny claw marks in the waxy patina of the oak floorboard. Her heart beat furiously. Some inner feeling was nagging her. She sniffed the air again and again. Her whiskers twitched non-stop. The journey across the hall, up the newel post, and the stair rail seemed routine now, although still arduous. But there was a faint feline odor hanging in the air. Her dark eyes pierced the dim hallway, but there was no sign of the cat. Celeste reached the end of the upstairs hallway and stopped in her tracks. The scent of cat fur and cat paws and cat breath quickly thickened like a soupy mist moving in off the river. She saw it now, the cloudy shape of the cat, crouched and waiting, staring motionlessly at the knothole in the attic door, between Celeste and home. The cat didn't see or hear Celeste. It seemed completely fascinated by the hole in the door. Celeste hid as best as she could in the shadow of a bookcase that stood against the wall. She waited. Rescue came in an unlikely form of Eliza Peary. And there we don't see our friend Celeste, maybe down there. But there we see Eliza, right? The girl who lives in the house. And what's she carrying? There's the cat, right? She's taking the cat with her. Let's see what happens next. There was a swishing sound from the hallway downstairs, and then continuing up the steps. Celeste pressed her body against the bookcase as Eliza glided by, inches away. "There you are, Puss!" she exclaimed, hurrying to gather up the gray cat who glared at her from the base of the attic door. "You've been hiding on me. Shame on you, Puss. Time for your breakfast." Eliza carried the cat down the stairs, fussing and cooing. Celeste made a dash for the attic knothole. It was a relief to be within the relative safety of the attic, and Celeste smiled contentedly at the thought of her warm, cottony bed with the soft satin pillows. She unpacked her goodies, stowed her baskets, and nibbled a breadcrumb as she made her way up the steps to her bedroom. "Well, well, well," squeaked a vaguely familiar voice. "You finally made it home. I hope you brought something back to eat." Celeste stared as the cool, gray dawn light came creeping into the bedroom. There, stretched across her bed, pinched face and beady eyes poking out from beneath the pink blanket, was Trixie. We'll read one extra chapter today. I'm just so curious about what's going to happen next. Let's read chapter 33 together. It's titled An Unwanted Housemate. And there we see the rat, Trixie. Cat got your tongue, Celeste? Trixie yawned, showing her pointy teeth and fleshy gums. What do you have there? A breadcrumb? I'd have thought you'd bring something home more substantial than that. There better be more downstairs. Celeste felt all her blood surge to her feet. They seemed frozen to the floor. Her ears buzzed and her mouth was dry. She stifled a gurgled cry, as suddenly her nest seemed unsafe, uncertain, and unhappy. Yes, it's me, continued Trixie. Don't look so surprised. Aren't you happy to see me? Trixie, yes, of course. Celeste felt her voice stumble. It's just so unexpected. I hid in the cellar for weeks. I saw you one night from the dining room as you were heading up the stairs. I wondered why you were going up, and so I followed you. That darn cat almost got me this morning. Well, don't just stand there like a ninny. Go fetch me something to eat. I found your stash of raisins and the piece of pork rind. You ate the pork rind? All of it? Celeste had been saving it for several dinners that week. Yes, all of it. That snivelly little morsel was barely a mouthful. And what's that thing? Trixie pointed to the nearby gondola on the windowsill. Still making these silly baskets, I see. It looks like you got a little carried away with this one. Yes, you could say that, replied Celeste. How do you carry food in this? It'd be too heavy once it's filled. It wasn't made for food, Trixie. It was made for me. Come again? I took a ride in it. A friend, an osprey, carried the basket with me in it and took me for a ride. What? My friend Lafayette carried the basket and we went all over the countryside. It was wonderful. You're lying. That's impossible. Celeste was quiet. Trixie glared at her. If this osprey, whatever that is, who took you on a trip around the countryside, is such a good friend, then maybe he wouldn't mind taking me on one too, would he? Oh, I couldn't ask Lafayette. Why not? You think you're so special, don't you? So high and mighty, living in this fancy place, going on flying trips. You're just too good for your old friends now. Is that it? No, Trixie, it's just that I couldn't ask. Look, you tell your friend that Miss Trixie wants to be taken for a ride. Tell him I want to go higher and farther than you. Tell him that. Well, you see, Trixie, tell him. Wow, Trixie's not very nice. Ugh, and that's where we'll stop for today. And we'll stop at chapter 34. Trixie takes off. I wonder what's going to happen with our friend Lafayette and our not so friendly character of Miss Trixie the rat. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow. All right? Okay, boys and girls, I still look forward to continue reading this. It's been so much fun. We're almost done, which is so crazy to me, but I'm so excited to continue, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye!